Friends, today we will learn about recombination. Recombination is the production of, of new DNA molecule from two parent DNA molecules or different segments of the same DNA molecule. Transposition is a highly specialized form of recombination in which a segment of DNA moves from one location to another, either on the same chromosome or a different chromosome. Let's know about homologous recombination. Homologous recombination is a type of genetic recombination in which nucleotide sequences are exchanged between two similar or identical molecules of DNA. It is most widely used by cells to accurately repair harmful breaks that occur on both strands of DNA, known as double strand breaks. Homologous recombination also produces new combinations of DNA sequences during meiosis, the process by which eukaryotes make gamete cells like sperm and egg cells in animals. These new combinations of DNA represent genetic variation in offspring, which in turn enables populations to adapt during the course of evolution. Homologous recombination is also used in horizontal gene transfer to exchange genetic material between different strains and species of bacteria and viruses. Although homologous recombination varies widely among different organisms and cell types, most forms involve the same basic steps. After a double strand break occurs, sections of DNA around the 5' ends of the break are cut away in a process called resection. In the strand invasion step that follows an overhanging 3' end of the broken DNA molecule then invades a similar or identical DNA molecule that is not broken. After strand invasion, the further sequence of events may follow either of two main pathways: the DSBR, that is double strand break repair pathway, and SDSA, that is synthesis dependent strand annealing pathway. Homologous recombination that occurs during DNA repair tends to result in non-crossover products, in effect resorting the damaged DNA molecule as it existed before the double strand break. Now let's know about homologous recombination. Homologous recombination is conserved across all three domains of life as well as viruses, suggesting that it is a nearly universal biological mechanism. The discovery of genes for homologous recombination in protists, a diverse group of eukaryotic microorganisms, has been interpreted as evidence that meiosis emerged early in the evolution of eukaryotes. Since their dysfunction has been strongly associated with increased susceptibility to several types of cancer, the protein that facilitate homologous recombination are topics of active research. Homologous recombination is also used in gene targeting, a technique for introducing genetic changes into target organisms. For the development of this technique, Mario Capecchi, Martin Evans, and Oliver Smiths were awarded the 2007 Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine. Capecchi and Smiths independently discovered applications to mouse, including uniform homologous integration of transferred DNA, that is gene therapy, were first shown in plasmid, experimented by Orr-Weaver, Stock and Rothstein. Researching the plasmid, induced DSB using gamma radiation in the 1970s and 1980s lead to later experiments using endonucleases to cut chromosomes for genetic engineering of mammalian cells where non-homologous recombination is more frequent than in yeast. Let's know about non-homologous recombination. It occurs in regions where no large-scale sequence similarity is apparent. Example, translocations between different chromosomes or deletions that remove several genes along a chromosome. However, when the DNA sequence at the breakpoint for these events is analyzed, short regions of sequence similarity are found in some cases. For instance, recombination between two similar genes that are several million base pair apart can lead to deletion of the intervening gene in somatic cells. Site-specific recombination occurs between particular short sequences present on otherwise dissimilar parental molecules. Site-specific recombination requires a special enzymatic machinery, basically one enzyme or enzyme system for each particular site. Good examples are the systems for integration for some bacteriophages such as lambda into a bacterial chromosome and the rearrangement of immunoglobulin genes in invertebrate animals. The third type is replicative recombination, which generates a new copy of segment of DNA. Many transposable elements use a process of replicative recombination to generate a new copy of the transposable element at a new location. Recombinant DNA technology uses two other types of recombination, the direct cutting and the rejoining of different DNA molecules in vitro using restriction endonucleases and DNA ligases. Once made, these recombinant DNA molecules are then introduced into a host organism, often a bacterium. If the recombinant DNA is a plasmid, phage or other molecule capable of replicating in the host, it will stay extrachromosomal. However, one can introduce the recombination DNA molecule into a host in which it cannot replicate, such as a plant, an animal cell in culture, or a fertilized mouse egg. In order for the host to be stably transformed, the introduced DNA has to be taken up into a host chromosome. In bacteria and yeast, this can occur by homologous recombination at a reasonably high frequency. However, this does not occur in plant or animal cells. In contrast, at a low frequency, some of these introduced DNA molecules are incorporated into random locations in the chromosomes of the host cell. Thus, random recombination into chromosomes can make stably transfected cells and transgenic plants and animals. This mechanism of this recombination during transformation or transfection is not well understood, although it is commonly used in the laboratory. Let's know about transposition. Transposition is a DNA recombination reaction that results in the translocation of a discrete DNA segment called a transposable element or transposon from a donor site to one of many non-homologous target sites. Transposition can also promote other kinds of DNA rearrangements including deletions, inversion, and replicant fusions. Such rearrangements of DNA can have profound effects. It can result in the stable acquisition of new genetic information, for example, the integration of viral DNA into a host chromosome. The acquisition of a novel DNA segment or other transposon mediated DNA rearrangements can also have considerable impact on the host genetic information. Element integration, element integration, deletion, and inversion can all result in alterations in the host DNA, which can lead to subsequent changes in the gene expression. Because some mobile elements encode outwarding firing promoters, element insertion can also activate downstream genes. Transposable elements can also facilitate DNA rearrangements by being substrates for other types of recombination reactions. Homologous recombination between elements at different genomic sites can lead to deletions, inversions, and replicant infusions. Thus, transposition serve as potent agents of genetic change, and their actions contribute substantially to genetic diversity because transposons encode the machinery to execute such rearrangements, that is specific combinations and the DNA sites upon which they act. Transposons actually encode the capacity to generate genetic change. These mobile DNA segments also often encode other determinants such as viral genes, antibiotic resistant genes, catabolic genes, and genes for virulence factors. The survival of a transposable element as a discrete entity depends on a delicate balance between the necessity for the element to replicate its host and the potentially deleterious impact of DNA rearrangements. There are multiple strategies for element over replication, including DNA copying of the entire element by semi-conservative replication during the act of element translocation, and also tricking the host into generating transposon copies through recombination DNA repair and through the use of particular target cell sites. Transposable elements are diverse and widespread, having been found in virtually every organism which has been examined. They were originally identified genetically as mobile controlling elements in maize by the pioneering studies of Barbara McClinton on unstable mutations in the 1950s and acquired physical definition upon their identification and characterization as the cause of polar insertion mutations in bacteria in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Bacteria, in particular Escherichia coli, E. coli, have provided an important arena for the study of transposition. The powerful genetic, molecular, and biochemical tools available for bacteria have facilitated dissection of both at the mechanism and regulation of transposition at the molecular level. Although many of the basic features of transposition were first elucidated in bacteria, it is now clear that transposition is fundamentally similar in all organisms. The study of transposition in bacteria has also contributed greatly to the analysis and understanding of many features of the bacterial lifestyle. One critical contribution of the study of transposition has been development of power genetic tools which exploit and use transposable elements. Now let's know about the overview of transposition. Transposition is a type of specialized recombination, that is recombination which is specific for and restricted to the sites of action of specialized recombinases. The specialized transposition recombinase is called the transposase. The transposase is usually encoded by the mobile element itself and specifically recognizes and acts on special cognate sites at the end of the element and promotes their joining to a new target DNA. The transposase thus mediates specific recognition of the transposable element and also execute the DNA strand breakage and joining reactions which underlie element translocation. The transposases often act in concert with both element encoded and host encoded accessory proteins. The six acting recombination sequences lie at the end of the element, generally arranged as inverted repeats. Indeed, these recombination sites delineates the element. The transposition does not require sequence homology between the recombining DNAs and is dependent of the host homologous recombination system, although homologous recombination may act upon the DNA products of transposition. All the heart of all transposition reactions is the insertion of a discrete DNA segment, that is the transposition into a non-homologous target site. Transpositions insert such that newly inserted element is flanked by short direct repeats of a sequence that existed only once in the target DNA. Since the element translocates between many different non-homologous sites, these duplications are not constant in sequence. These target duplications are, however, constant in length, in this length being characteristic for each element. The detailed structure of transposition products can vary considerably depending on the relative locations of substrate transposition ends and the target site to which they will join, and on the particular type of transposition reaction. Also, transposition products may be subsequently processed by other recombination systems which will alter their structure. There are two types of transposition reactions. Let's know in details. The transposition mechanisms of bacterial elements can be broadly divided into two types of reactions: non-replicative and replicative transposition. In cut and non-replicative transposition is otherwise known as cut and paste, and replicative transposition in non-replicative transposition, the transposon is excised from the donor DNA and inserted into the target DNA to form a simple insertion. The role of replication in this reaction is limited to repair of the new joints between the transposon and the target DNA. This type of transposition also results in a gapped donor DNA, which may be processed in a variety of ways. Depending on how the gapped donor is processed, cut and paste transposition can be a biologically replicative reaction that is result in an increase in transposition copy number. In replicative transposition, the transposition is directly copied by DNA replication during element translocation to generate a structure called a co-integrate, which contains two copies of the transposition joining the donor and target backbones. Their co-integrate may be subsequently processed by other types of recombination to yield a simple insertion and another molecule genetically identical to the donor prior to transposition. Although cut and paste transposition and replicative transposition may appear quite distinct, they are fundamentally related on many levels, both in chemical terms and also in how such reactions affect the host. Thus, many regulatory concerns affect both classes of reaction. Now, let's know about differences between transpositions and site-specific recombinations. A defined feature of transposition recombination is that DNA replication is involved. This replication may be limited to repair of the joints between a newly inserted element and its target DNA, or may be profoundly involved, actually copying the entire element during the act of transposition. The involvement of replication in transposition distinguishes this recombination reaction from another type of specialized recombination, site-specific recombination. Well-studied site-specific recombination reactions include the integration excision cycle of bacteriophage lambda the resolution of plasmid multimers to monomers and DNA inversions. Whereas transposition involves DNA replication, site-specific recombination involves precise breakage and rejoining in limited regions of homology shared between specialized recombination sites and does not involve replication. Although elements that insert into a target DNA via transposition and those that insert via site-specific recombination are both flanked by direct repeats of target sequences. The origins of these repeats are quite different. In transposition, target sequence duplications arise from DNA replication. A single copy of this sequence, that is the target DNA at the site of element insertion, was present in the reaction substrates. The two copies of this sequence in products result from replication. By contrast, in site-specific recombination, the substrate together contain two copies of the sequence that will appear in the products as target replications. One copy of the repeat sequence exists in each substrate, and recombination occurs by breaking and joining within the sequence in the absence of replication. Another distinguishing feature of transposition is that it is non-reciprocal. An example of the non-reciprocal nature of transposition is that the movement of an element from a donor site to an insertion site is not accompanied by the restoration of the donor site to its original pre-transposition state. By contrast, the movement of an element by site-specific recombination regenerates the site from which the element moved. The non-reciprocal nature of transposition is due to obligatory involvement of replication in this type of recombination, whereas site-specific recombination, a reciprocal form of recombination, occurs by breakage and joining without nucleotide loss or gain. Although transposition and site-specific recombination are distinguished in many of their biological outcomes and do occur by chemically distinguished mechanisms, they are also related at many levels. Many Hosten coded proteins can act as accessory factors in both types of recombination, and both types of reactions often involve elaborate multi-component protein nucleic acid complexes, reflecting the potentially lethal nature of any DNA breakage and joining reaction. Both of these types of recombination reactions are usually highly regulated. Finally finished. Thank you. Please subscribe my channel. Thank you.